Mercury's in retrograde, which means you can plant those seeds, but you don't want to water them too much, because when Mercury goes into retrograde, we're actually looking into the past. We're uncovering things that trauma that has not been.
Love one, love all. Glad to be back in the building. Feel like we've taken a hiatus, but we really haven't taken a hiatus. I think we have just not recorded live as much as we normally do.
Right.
We all have had things going on. This is that time of year where those of us that have kids are doing the vacation thing, and I had to step away for some business stuff I had going on. But look, we are all here even when we're not here.
That's right.
So we try to do as much recording as possible. What I am going to do from the jump is ask all of our viewers to go to our YouTube and subscribe. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is. We need to get our followers up. So, saying that, how has Christy has probably been the busiest of all of us, traveling the world.
Yeah, just doing it all,
She's Big Willie style, all on stages in foreign countries, and
I'm feeling a lot of jealousy ooze from you right now.
It is a healthy form of jealousy, more of like good envy, so to speak.
Okay.
So how's it been?
I just have to say, did we forget where we're at? Do we got our shoes off?
Yeah.
It's shoes off talk. You got your shoes off, people?
I ain't got mine off.
Shoes off.
Where you're like, oh, she's in a dress. I know how to cover.
You did not cover.
I
did not cover.
This
Yeah.
No.
They may have seen your hoo-ha. They may have seen your hoo-ha.
For a little quick second there.
Ain't nobody. You'll get more subscribers that way, guys.
Hey, do that again. Yeah, I forgot about that. We need more subscribers.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Shoes off talk, y'all. Put the camera down. Hey, so Floyd, how has your summer been so far? Still going, but
it's still going. Busy, with the kids, and then work, and just doing that thing, But it's been all right.
So they're back in school now. What does that mean for you guys? Does that mean more you time, or what does that mean?
What do you think, Floyd? Does it mean more you time?
To a point, because it depends. Well, not even depends, because it's like when your kids are in school, then you're in school too. Because it's like everything that they have going on, you got going on. And it's like you don't want to keep them from not doing anything.
Right.
So basically, it's like now you got to take that extra time just to make sure that they're doing what they want to do.
Right. And when we have kids in school, it does give us a little bit more time, but then it also makes us get a little bit more regular in a pattern.
On a schedule.
Yeah, on a schedule. We have to be on a schedule when they're in school.
From
you have to
such
organize.
and such, them leaving till 3:00.
Right.
I got to try to fit all of this into the schedule.
The summer is a mess. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to be. Any second of the day could be changing. I can think I'm going to go here, and then 2 seconds later I'm this way. It's like, I never know where I am. When it's school season, it's like, okay, we've got the, I have to look at my calendar. Where am I at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock? I know what's going to be going on because it needs to be more organized.
Yeah, it does.
Floyd, you had some health issues. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling quite well. Feeling good. It was a little drowsiness, but I'm back on it.
You got makeup on your face?
No, that's not makeup.
It's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't do makeup.
Yeah, you have makeup on. Anyway, we both have makeup on our face because we hug Christy.
There it is. That's right.
We
That's
hug
right.
Christy.
That's
I'm
right.
putting that disclaimer
right.
out there, so ain't no thoughts that some other stuff is going on. We hug Christy,
They don't
and
have
she
control
wears
over it.
wears a little makeup, and so we get it on us. We
I
get it on
force a
us.
hug every time I see
Yeah.
him. I get mad if they don't hug me.
Oh,
So.
and she gonna make you give her a hug. It ain't one of them one arm hugs. She wants a hug.
Yeah.
She's a very spiritual person, and that is spiritual enlightening for her to get a hug.
I like the energy exchange.
And the energy, there is an energy exchange. Man, we're living in a difficult time right now. I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling financially, spiritually, mentally, the whole nine. I hear it all the time. I'm constantly, trying to motivate people and encourage people. But those people that do the encouragement and the motivation, they feel it as well. And so I can admit that, I'm feeling it from all sides as well. It's just a time that we are in. This is our season. I speak about it all the time, is that we all have those seasons that we just have to endure and get through. And on the other side of it, it's prosperity. And the most important thing to have is to have that support system around you, the people that aren't going to necessarily coddle you, but they're going to encourage you and push you. I tell people all the time, I don't want anybody taking this weight from me. Just tell me how I can carry it. Because I've learned over my 54 years of living that it doesn't benefit me to give my weight to someone else. It benefits me more to carry my weight. But even at the age of 54, sometimes I'm clueless on how to carry it. Or sometimes life will have us so confused mentally on how to carry it. And sometimes you just need those people to give you direction. So it's why it's so important to have a good circle of people around you. But saying that, Christy kind of led us into some spiritual enlightening on why this may be. What do you feel like is going on, Christy?
Well, I believe in astrology, and the planets align. They're moving and grooving, and so depending on where we are planetarily, we go through different things. Like if you look at historically, when wars happen, when there's depressions, there's patterns with the stars. There just is. So I'm a big believer in astrology, and right now, we're going into the sign Leo. So the Leo sign is all about finding your power, your courage, and looking at, and it's also a new moon. So, do we just have the new moon, or it's a new moon right now today? But anyway, the new moon is all about setting those agendas, those plans. What do you want for your future? So, putting those seeds, and usually by the time the full moon comes around, you've brought those. You planted those seeds and they're starting to sprout. But we are the Mercury is in retrograde, which means you can plant those seeds, but you don't want to water them too much, because when Mercury goes into retrograde, we're actually looking into the past. We're uncovering things that trauma that has not been healed from the past, something that you've swept under the rug. Something that you chose not to see. So a lot of times this is where you might get phone calls from exes, or, this is definitely not a time you want to get married. You don't want to sign any important paperwork. You don't want to make any big life decisions. Plan what you want for your future, yes, but don't actively engage on something really big right now. Just write it down, manifest, think about what it is that you want to create, but let yourself feel whatever it is that you're feeling, those emotions, those traumas, childhood traumas, relationship traumas that you have, let those come up and see what happens. A lot of people will be surprised of the healing that might happen. Something that you has been hurting for a long time might all of a sudden you'll have an opportunity to talk to someone where that will be healed. And that's what it's about. It's about when Mercury goes into retrograde, it's all about healing those wounds from the past. But it's going to be tough. It's good. I'd say the rest of the year is going to be pretty tough. Plus, it's an 8-8 portal. They talk about a 8-8 portal. Usually has to do with finances. My predictions. I hate to go into stuff, but
No, let us know.
you don't want to. 8 is in numerology is the number of money, finances, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of a financial crisis that goes on with our world. Some kind of well, I'll just get into that part right there. Some kind of financial crisis. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens soon because of the 8-8 portal that's happening right now. And we've got the retrogrades. We've got a lot of stuff going on. If I known I was going to be put on the spot, I would have had my little sheet of everything that's going on in the universe right now. But there's a lot. There's a lot. So we're going to be seeing a lot of old trauma, a lot of tension, a lot of division, a lot of struggle, push, pull. So to try not to feed into that, I would say sit with it, see how you feel, try to always have peace in your heart and see that this is being brought to light to heal you, not to create more division. It's being brought to light so you can look at it. You can look at it, learn from it, not to fight it. So there you have it. And the people that it's going to affect the most, Tim, I'm sorry, I hate to say this, Leo's me and Virgo's you, because it's in our sign right now. It's happening in our sign. The people that were born during this time, for the first 2 months, it's me. And the second, 2 weeks, it's me. The second 2 weeks, it's you. And that's when the Mercury is in retrograde during when it's in the Leo, and then when it's in the Virgo. So those are the people that are really going to feel it.
Right before Virgo hits.
No, it's not. That's why I'm saying.
It's currently going on.
Prepare. You're feeling it. You're feeling it right now anyway. But everyone's going to feel it, but we're definitely feeling it the most. And I will tell you, I've been a freaking mess. The last 2 weeks, I've been crying and crying. And it's funny because I actually posted a video of me crying, which is huge for me.
I told Floyd about that.
People, this is huge. You don't know how huge this is for me. I chose to post that because I realized that I talk about authenticity and being your authentic self, but I'm always posting pictures and videos of laughing and smiling because that's who I am. But for some reason, I have always cried in shame. In my room, in my closet, facing the pillow. If I felt like I was going to cry, I would turn it into a laugh. I'd be like, I have to get them out there. And I'd like run. I would literally run for the door and try to find like a dark place no one would see me. That is not something like my ex-husband called me Ice Woman for a reason. He never saw me cry once. Like people don't see me cry. And I sat with that and realized that why can't I be vulnerable? Why can't I allow myself to feel in front of people? Why is there such shame attached to crying for me? So in being my authentic self, I thought, you know what better way to do that? Throw it up on social media.
Yeah. Well, I think both of you remember me. It's probably 2 weeks ago now. I posted. It's crazy because that you say what you just said about what's going on right now. I posted probably about a little bit over 2 weeks ago. I posted something on Facebook asking people for prayers, and I was just saying I was in a bad place, and that's what it really was that going through that season of emotions, and it just seems like no matter what I was doing, it was like bombarding me. It was coming from a million different directions. And like you, I'm usually pretty good. I don't really hide my emotions. I think I've over the years, I've come to realize and understand that my emotions don't define who I am. It allows me to share that vulnerability with other people, to let people know that, hey, I am human. I do feel. And so that at that point, it was just a lot going on in my life. And it just seems like it all came to a head. And it's like I was stuck in the middle without knowing which way to go, left or right. And so for me, it was a point to where I literally had to close my eyes and be like, hey, I need y'all to pray for me because I'm not in a good space right now. And dealing with PTSD as well, that kind of magnifies um, whatever mood I'm in dealing with that, because even though I have coping skills on how to deal with that, it's still dealing with that in itself is tough, and I've learned how to cope and deal with it. But when everything else is added on top of it, it makes it even that much more difficult. So sometimes I literally just close my eyes, cry, and either solicit prayers of people, or I really, really, really deeply start praying about it, because the worst thing that I could do is just to hide that emotion and then just act like nothing's wrong. And when I found in my life that I've done that and acted like nothing wrong, everything sets me off. Everything. So I've become a walking time bomb. And so I've learned to find that solitude in those moments, and really seek prayer, ask for prayer, and reach out to the people that are in my circle that I know that love and care about me. And just ask them to keep me in their thoughts, keep me uplifted in prayer, because it was just one of those moments where I felt like, as strong as I am mentally, physically, spiritually, I just could not get out of it. I kept finding myself going out in public and trying to do things and have those kind of escapes being around people. And it was like I was walking on the clouds, like I was there, but I wasn't there. And so taking unresolved emotional stuff into the world is kind of like the worst thing that you could do, because it really doesn't give you a chance to address the issue. It just really kind of masks it, because you have people coming at you from all angles, talking about this, talking about that, and you may have that moment where you feel like it's lifted and it's gone, but it's like drugs and alcohol. It's like a lot of people are dependent on drugs and alcohol because it gives them that escape. But once you come down, or once you sober up, it's still there. Now you've magnified it, because not only is it still there, you have all of the symptoms of coming down from a high, or sobering up from an alcohol binge. So that kind of makes it worse. So um, I've said this, especially over the last week or so, when we've talked about vulnerability. It's like it's so relieving to be vulnerable in front of people. Because if you could take that step and allow yourself to be vulnerable in front of an audience, it makes it easier for you to deal with it alone. And that's something that a lot of people um, deal with, because vulnerability is really what it is. You're allowing yourself to be exposed. And
Right.
there are people out there that literally prey on people's vulnerability. And if you've been through anything in your life, you understand that's some of the worst times for you. You've experienced some of the worst things in your life is when you were vulnerable. And typically we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with people that have made us feel like we can be vulnerable with.
Right.
And a lot of times it doesn't play out in your favor, because like I said, there's people out there that prey on people's vulnerability. And as soon as you let those walls down, they get in and step all on you and do everything. So it makes it tougher for everybody coming after them, for all of your socializations after them, because now you're like, okay, can I be vulnerable, or I'll just allow myself to be 10% vulnerable. And so you start giving it out sparingly, and then God forbid you encounter that again, you're like, I'm not going to give that to nobody else. And so now you become guarded. And so while you're guarded, you're not letting anything in. But the crazy thing is, you're also not letting anything out. And that's where health issues come in.
Right.
When you don't allow things to come in or go out,
They manifest within the body.
Yeah. and you start talking about heart disease. You start talking about digestive issues. Start talking about brain function. Just all of these different things that come from holding stress in.
Right.
And it's so funny, not funny, but a couple years ago when I was deep into what I was going through in my relationship and everything, I went in for I do regular checkups like 2 or 3 times a year. I have blood work done. I also have physical done. One, because of all of the surgeries and everything that I've had. And I've been so accustomed with dealing with pain. My pain tolerance on a 5 is probably everybody's 12.
Mm.
And so because of that, it's unsafe for me because I would say that I'm feeling okay
Mm.
when the average person would probably need to go to the ER.
Mm.
And so that's the reason why I do these checkups as well. And then with all the stuff in the environment, I just want to make sure that I haven't allowed myself to be exposed to something that I shouldn't be exposed to. So going in to do this checkup a couple of years ago, they did the what is it with the heart? The MKG,
Stent?
or MM,
The EG,
Oh,
EKG.
yes.
EKG. So they did the EKG. I ain't never had anything with my heart or anything, no kind of issues like that at all. And so went in, got the test back in a couple of days, and they called me and they was like, "Hey, I need you to come in." And I'm like, "Well, what's my results?" And that is so scary. I know that there's people that have been had health issues and they've gotten those calls, and that's never a good sign when they don't want to talk about it over the phone. They want you to come in. And I'm like, oh,
just tell me. Come on now, just tell me.
But it wasn't even like come in 15 or 20 minutes to say, hey, come in tomorrow. So you got that whole rest of the day and the night to kind of think about what is wrong. And so I go in the next day and they said, hey, your EKG came back up normal.
Mm.
And so me, I work out 6 days a week. I do jujitsu. I'm so super active. And I was like, okay, well, maybe my levels were a little off because of something that I was doing. And that's what I was saying in my mind. Sometimes you try to psych yourself out by giving yourself the solution.
Right.
And so they went on to tell me, they said, hey, you have a hole in your heart valve.
Mm.
I said, a what?
Mm.
They said you have like a pin-sized hole in your heart valve. I was like, well, what does that mean? They was like, it's really not serious right now, but we want to watch it because that's something that could turn into something serious pretty quick. And I ain't never, ever had like inner issues like that. I've had digestive problems and this and that, but never nothing like that. So that was really kind of eye-opening for me. And of course, somebody tell you something like that has something to do with your heart valve, you automatically think, okay, how much time I got left? Let me eat right. Maybe going through all
I
of this.
can do something about
Yeah,
that.
I'm trying to do at-home remedies. I'm trying to do the things around the heart that I think might have caused it. And then as the consult goes on, she says, she's like, have you been dealing with a lot of stress? And I'm like, Lord, I don't think a lot is the correct scale for what I've been dealing with when it comes to stress. And so without going into detail, I told her, yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of stress. And she was like, well, that's what it is. It's like, whatever it is that you are dealing with, Tim, you got to get away from it. Because without saying it, she was like, basically, it's killing you.
Yeah. Mm.
And so, I took that serious. And so I just started being mindful of sometimes you can't control the things around you, but you can control how you react to the things around you. And so that was more important for me. And I've actually implemented that in my life now. It's like, I can't control the people around me and the things that want to cause me stress. I can just control how I react to the stress. And so for me, it was more so Um, just really being cognizant of people, places, and things that I was really associating with. And I even find it now, man, it's like the devil is really busy right now, and it has everything to do with what you were saying, with, the astrology stuff. And I'm noticing that. And I've always, you've known me for a while, and I'm always the laid back one. For me, it's always, I love seeing people enjoy themselves. I probably get no better enjoyment out of seeing people enjoy themselves, and I'm not the one that needs to be spotlighted. I don't need the credit. Floyd, you know me, and I've never been like that. And for some reason, everything that I've gotten involved with has been some kind of animosity coming toward me that is like, uh, uh, that is almost kind of like, yeah, forget you. It's me. Like wanting me to have that conflict when, I find myself, like I said, I've learned from the damage that it has done to me reacting to stuff like that. So I've literally had to cut people off, bro. Like because it was coming so rapidly and from, you know, that direction to where I literally had to like sever ties, like block numbers, get people off my social media because I don't need it. This world that I live in and the life that I live is not about me, and so I can't be around people that are making life about them. I don't get along well with people that thirst and need the spotlight. Hey, look at me and this and that. I've done stuff that I know has my fingerprints all on it. And if somebody needs that spotlight, take it. Just don't involve me. Don't Tim, just take the spotlight. You don't need to involve me, just take the spotlight. So it's given me gratification to see what it has done in other people's lives and the effect that I've had in people's lives. That's it for me alone. And so, you know, all in all, within this message is like control the things that you can control. You can't control someone trying to cause you stress. You can't control things in your life that cause you stress. What you can control is how you react to that stress.
That's right.
And that's where you really put yourself in danger. You had something you want to say?
I don't remember.
Oh,
but I did want to say, are you listening? And are you doing things to help decompress, relieve that stress? Because we do know that we shove it in, it manifests physically within our body. I believe that 100%. All physical issues actually come from emotional trauma. Stuff that we shove down, we don't look at, we don't face, we ignore, and it manifests within our body. And did they say anything about calcium buildup by chance? A lot of people.
They might have. As soon as they said whole heart valve, I didn't hear nothing else. They could have told me your kidneys was shutting down or something. As soon as I heard the heart valve and whole, they probably could have said, Tim, you lost a leg. I didn't hear nothing else after, so they could have said that, and I just glossed over it and didn't hear it. It's something when they say something wrong with your heart. The heart, the heart and the brain, it really is, and especially when you're somebody that tries to lead the healthiest life possible. When you hear news like that, you're just like, I've been doing it all wrong.
Right.
What I'm doing ain't working.
You got to protect the heart. The heart is our biggest muscle.
Yeah, it really is.
We have to protect it.
And people think when you talk about size, I mean, when you talk about something as big of a muscle as your heart, they look at like the size of it, like. And it's not necessarily when you talk about muscles, it's not necessarily the size, but more so the amount of work that muscle does. Right. And so, yeah, when they said something about the heart, I didn't hear nothing else.
So, Tim, what that tells me is that you might preach that all you can control is your own actions or
Mhm.
reactions to things, but you are not following through with your own advice.
Oh,
So
that's the hardest part a lot of times. To practice what you preach.
yeah,
Those that can't do, teach. You know what I'm saying? So, hey.
That's true.
And I say it all the time. It's like we go to different people for motivation and inspiration, but a lot of times those are the very people that need it most. They've just had the life experiences that they can talk about and share with you. It doesn't mean that they've perfected that skill of motivating themselves. A lot of times when motivational speakers speak, they may be speaking to you, but they're actually motivating themselves. Because I know with me having the brand that I have, the more I talk about it, the more motivated and the reminders that I get of being my brand and living my brand. You know, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect, and we find things in our life to inspire and motivate us. And some of it is not the same thing that everybody else gets inspired and motivated by. And so, yeah, it's definitely difficult to practice what you preach, because a lot of times it's easier for us to verbalize it than it is for us to put it in action. You know, we can talk about it all day long.
But it's true, because most people who do speak about something or become a doctor even, or want to help others get in the field of expertise that they're in, is usually from some kind of trauma that they have gone through that has put them on that path. Someone ill in their family that they wanted to learn more about to help their family member, so they become a doctor, or something that they're going through personally, they want to learn how to overcome that. So so it's true. We're all on the same journey. We're on the same path of healing, but that's a good one. That we can't control anyone but ourselves.
Yeah.
Our reactions to the things that happen around us, and also I'm a big believer in those moments of darkness to flip it. Always flip it and realize this is happening for me, not to me. It's happening for me. What is it meant to teach me? What am I meant to learn from this? This is a gift. The universe is gifting me this pain right now so that I can grow from it. This is happening to me, or happening for me, not to me.
Yeah. What people a lot of times need to understand is, like, your pain is a reminder of you being alive. When you don't feel pain anymore, just think about it from a medical standpoint. Something happens to you traumatically, medically, and it happens so hard, so fast that you don't feel pain. That's, just think about it. Like, even when you go into ER, first thing they do is like, hey, do you feel this? And if you say no, that's not good.
Right.
That's not good. Like, if you get into an accident where your lower extremities have been affected, and they take that needle and they're jabbing you in your legs or in your back, and you don't feel it, that's not good. And that's how life is like, we need that pain to remind us that we are alive. When you no longer feel that pain, that's the problem. That is a problem. One, either it has gotten you to the point to where you become so numb that nothing affects you. And I've heard people low-key brag about that. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And so, like you said, you got to embrace the things that people normally push away.
Right.
And that's your mindset. And I say it all the time. You want to change your life, change your mindset and how you view things. And sometimes as easy as how you say it, like what you just said. It isn't happening to me.
It's happening for me.
It's happening for me. And I say this all the time, man. I would rather me go through what I'm going through than have my kids go through it, or have my mom go through it, or any of my loved ones go through it. Because I know if it's happening to me, I know I can deal with it. It's going to be tough. I know I can deal with it. I can't say that for everybody else. Right. And so I embrace my failures. I embrace my pain. I embrace all of it. And the other thing that pain does is once you feel that pain, you don't want to go back to it. It's a reminder of what that thing felt like. And you're like, it's hard for us to say that we'll never cross that bridge again, but we are actually more mindful of crossing that bridge.
That's right.
I say it like this: you may get me one time, but you won't get me the same way the next time. You may get me again, but you won't get me the same way. Like, you won't get me the same way. If you trick me into doing something, you may trick me into doing something again, but you won't trick me the same way you tricked me the first time. So, and we have to understand that. That's something that we have to have a clear understanding with us, and it all, you've alluded to this before in our conversations. It's really all about getting to know yourself. Once you know yourself, you know what your abilities are, what your capabilities are, what you like, what you don't like. But if you don't become familiar with yourself and know those things, you'll accept anything.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you like or what you don't like. And so that's important. Floyd, did you have anything that you want to say? That was really the sum of the conversation today, as we wanted to just talk about vulnerability, feelings, emotions, and allowing yourself all of that.
Yes.
The vulnerability, the emotions, and all of that.
I want to say one more thing about astrology, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in astrology, and they're kind of rolling their eyes about
I think
the whole thing.
they're more believers now
Right.
based on what has been happening in the world over the last couple of years.
I just want to point out, or think about this, if you're a female, or you have, females in your house, think about how a lot of times we cycle up with the full moon. Think about how you hear more sirens during a full moon. There's more births on a full moon. It's because the moon controls us. We're what, 80% water. If the moon can control the ocean, the waves, the tides, it controls our emotions as well. What do you think
Makes
is going
sense.
on with the rest of the universe? It is controlling us. So it does affect us very highly. And this 888 portal, when I say 888, that is the month we're in. We're in the month 8. We'll be on the day 8, and we're in a planetary, if you add up, 2024, it comes to 8. So 888 portal. We are that, and 8 is finances. So you might be struggling financially. You might be thinking, what do I want to do? Maybe you're in a different job pattern. Maybe it's the what we have going on with our financial stuff, but there's definitely some kind of financial stuff going on, either with you personally or with our planet right now.
Yeah.
So just maybe think about that and realize that it's bigger than you.
A lot
It's
of
not
times
just
it's just
you.
a lot of
It's
times
bigger
it's just
than
the
you.
understanding of the origination of why things happen that will put you more at ease. Because I think the biggest difficult for people worrying is the not knowing.
And when you realize that you're not going through it alone, we're all going through it.
Yes.
I think as humans, we feel like we're the only one. I'm the only one struggling. No one else feels this. No one
We're
else
all feeling
is
it.
having financial problems or work problems. Nobody else has it. When you realize that we are all in this together, we're all one. We're all connected.
We are.
We're all feeling it.
Yes, we are. And we will. That was a perfect way to end it. And it sums it all. We're all in this together, and so that's why the decisions that we make as a group has to be decisions that affect the whole and not just the sum. And so that is segue into our next show. Stay tuned. We appreciate everybody, like I always say, giving us their time and energy. We're very grateful. And so we're going to end this segment as how we end all segments. Love, peace, and soul.